Hi everyone, today I want to make a short video on how we can create more analog sounding sounds within Faceplant, something like this. Something like that, I'm not sure yet, but I want to just go over a couple of techniques that we use when we want to have analog sounding sounds. So analog, of course, with that we mean hardware synths that are generally a little bit older, although new ones are being made today. One of the characteristics is that they have analog oscillators, which means that they drift a little bit. Analog oscillators that can get out of tune when your room heats up or cools down a little bit. Basically, it's being influenced by the environment, which is very different than digital synths. So we're going to go over a couple of these techniques. A good place to start, I guess, is the analog oscillator, which is already meant to sound a little bit more imperfect. You can see these little squiggly things here on the saw wave. So let's start there, and let's first work on our drift. So in Faceplant, we have a random module right here, which just randomly outputs values at a certain rate. We're going to set this rate very low, very slowly, and then we're going to dial the smooth all the way up to get these smoother kind of curves, as you see here. And for this, it's very important. You can see that if I hit a note right now, this random restarts. Every time I hit a note, it will restart to a certain value. That's what we don't want. So we want to set the trigger off so that so we say never trigger from note on, so that it doesn't matter which notes I play, this will always continue, and that is great for our oscillator drift. So we can set this up to the phase for just a couple of percent. I'm going to raise my volume here. Then let's also set the unison, kind of a common thing. We'll set the spread all the way out, and let's set the unison to a random value as well, 23 point something. We want to make sure we choose smooth here. If we choose any of the other modes, synthetic or hard, this means that the phase is going to reset for every new note, which sort of would not be the drift that we are looking for. Right, so you have something like this. Let's tweak the the envelope a little bit. Let's make it longer and some longer release. A longer decay and a longer sustain. Here again we can start using some randomization. So again we choose a different algorithm, otherwise we would get the same values, and we set it to never trigger from note on, chaos all the way up, smooth all the way up, and we choose a different kind of rate than the other one. And we can set this up subtly to the decay here, even the sustain level, so that we're gonna drift in level a little bit as well, and the attack, so that every time we get a slightly different attack. Now then, what we might want to set up is some vibrato as well. So for this we can choose a regular LFO, and we can set this to around 5, 6, 7 hertz. Let's go in here and choose a sine wave. Let's use cosine, or actually let's use sort of a more custom sine. So you can see here, if we go into the editor, I've created some inconsistencies here in the sine. So just some small values that are different. You can do this in this mode, you can either do this in this draw mode here, where you can create these small kind of thingies. So all of these little things, they will really add up in the end, and that's why we're doing this. So we can set this to our master pitch, and we give that a very tiny value there. You can also drag this slider down to reduce the output range there. I'm going to go with a bit of a longer release. Now then, let's go to the filters. So for analogs, we pretty much always want to choose a non-linear filter. A non-linear filter is a filter that responds differently based on the level of the input. So the more signal you send into it, the more color the filter will have. That's opposed to a regular filter that will always, like this one, that will basically always sound the same. So we definitely want to have a non-linear filter. And what we can do with that, the first thing I'd like to do is set the velocity to the filter cutoff, so that if we play a note louder, we get a bit of a higher cutoff there. So this is all for small variations, and we can also set up a a note to that. And this is basically key track, so that if we play higher notes, the filter will open up more. We'll also do that subtly. And then the real trick here is to use an audio follower and set that to the cutoff as well. And this can create a very nice, rich, dynamic distortion, because what the audio follower will do is it will listen to a certain signal, we can say which one, and then it will use that signal to modulate some sort of value, whatever you choose basically. So right now this is set to listen to master. That is basically fine. What we could do though is we could copy this group here, this one, and rather than sending that to lane 1, we send that to the sideband. And this is now just going to be a modulator. We're not hearing that because it's going to basically an empty bus. You can hear that if I switch off the first group here and I play a note, nothing happens. But if we choose sideband here, we will see the signal coming in there. We can raise the gain a little bit. Now this curve that you see, this level, we can use to modulate the cutoff. In fact, I already did that. So let's listen to that. And you can hear that this creates some flutter there on the sound. You hear this very fast kind of sound. So I can increase this a little bit more to make that smoother. You can play around with that, and even that one again you could put a randomizer on there. So we can choose random here, again go with a very low output value, and we can use that to modulate the attack time a little bit. So it's going to be all about these small little things there. Now another thing with analog, you definitely gonna want to add some noise, because all analog synths, they have some noise. It can be subtle, but it will be there. So if we choose a noise here, we lower the gain a little bit. That's what noise sounds like. So we can make this very soft. We could also add a filter here in case you don't want this in your low end. We can secretly clean this up a little bit and make the noise mostly focus on the higher part. We could also make it a little bit brighter, adding another filter here and choosing a shelf, and then we can raise up that part there. And once again, we're gonna choose a different random module and modulate the level ever so slightly, like 0.5%, something like this. And with this one, we can leave the trigger on so that the noise will be at a different level every time we hit a note. And we can set the speed to 0 so that once it has hit a note, it will always stay at that position. Okay, so that's for our noise. All right, so we have this. I'm going to increase my vibrato amount a little bit, this one. Now what we also might want to do is add some more analog synths. They're often played rather than sequenced. So when we play, we have a couple of things available to us. Of course, we have the note range, so how high we are on the keyboard. We have the mod wheel, which we can find it here. We can simply attach that to the cutoff there. Now if I raise the mod wheel on my keyboard, that's fairly straightforward. Of course, we have the pitch bend range also on the keyboard. But what I like to do for pitch bends is I'd like to use aftertouch for that, or also called pressure. And this is what you get if you hit a note on your keyboard and then you press down further on this note. So if I do this right now, I hit a C note, for example, and then I press further. you can see that I get this pressure value there. So we can use this to, for example, increase the detuning. And I can actually do that slightly again, try to stay around 1 or 2%. But what I also like to do with this is to send it into a slew limiter, which will slow down the value. So let's send it into there. And then that one we can set up to our pitch here as well. And let's set it with a range of 1 semitone. So now we can slow down these pressure values. So if I hit a note and then press down further, you can hear that we're gliding up now. So this works well if you have a note that is, let's say you're in the C minor scale. If you are on the note D and the note G, then you can go up within the scale to an E flat or to an A flat. So if you're on those notes, you can now press down on your aftertouch. Something like this. So we have our filter there. What else can we do? We can still use a convolver. So with the convolver we can impose another audio file on top of our signal. This can be very useful for a certain type of color that you're looking for. So if we go into the settings here, and we go into the factory settings, we have a lot of things we can do. Let's see, do we have some, for example, some amplifiers in here? We do have some instrument profiles. We have some modular ones, percussion, impulse responses. These cabinets might be useful for this. Let's go through a couple of them. This one sounds nice and noisy there. And then of course some plate reverb never hurts. A plate or a spring reverb will of course sound like they're older, I guess. This will be the regular reverb, sounds a little bit too clean. So let's go for a convolver here as well. Notice that I put this in the second lane. The signal right now flows from lane 1 to lane 2 and then lane 3. So here we can choose a the impulse responses. Let's choose a artificial space. See if we can find anything like a plate in here. Maybe we can do a search. Here we have some plates, big drums, choir. So now you could of course copy this group as well. We can call this group A. Let's say we have a 2 oscillator synth. This one, group B. And we can raise this, let's say 12, almost 12 semitones. So they're going to be out of tune with each other. And we can lower the level on that a little bit. Actually, we shouldn't use the shift for that, of course. Shift is a straight offset. We use the semitones here. And then within these oscillators, we can also, again, choose non-linear filters. Again, we use those for the color. And the bias here can also create some random offset. And for this one, let's also choose a distortion here maybe. Saturate would be nice, and then we add a filter after that, a non-linear filter after that. And then I'm gonna lower my noise a little bit more. And then after that, you would assign some of these parameters here to do even more randomization. So for example, for this cutoff, the spread here, you can choose this cutoff once again, there. You can add a lot of these small kind of things. So that's a little bit on randomization within Phaseplant or analog sound design. You can go much further with this, but I just wanted to give you like the core concept today, which is small, especially based on performance, small modulation values applied to a bunch of things: oscillator drift, pitch instability, and definitely don't forget about this audio follower. Another one that's kind of similar to this audio follower is using the ring mod. Let me show you just this one as well. So we have to go in front of our reverbs here. We can choose a ring mod, and this one, as you can see, also has a modulator input. So we can choose the same sideband here, which was, let me rename this properly. So this here was the sideband group, this one, sideband. I really cannot type today. And we can send that here as a modulator for our ring modulation. Ring modulation will multiply the amplitudes by each other, creating like new tones. And if we use this in this context, it just creates this sort of, again, a natural kind of dynamic distortion sound. Right now you hear it only on the noise, but let's... So this is without. Let's raise that a bit. So this is that same flutter sound again. And we can assign this to the ring mod, and ring mod and random here. Actually, let me remove this one and just create a dedicated reverb macro. All right, so I will leave you with that. Hope you get something useful out of that. If you like this kind of stuff, I do have a full course on Phaseplant. I will put the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and see you in another video.